US troops who have been stationed at the Yashonka airport near Rzeszów, the main supply hub for Ukraine, which is fighting Russia, for 3 years, are to move to other locations in our country. This information was addressed by Polish President Andrzej Duda. I know the issue myself. The issue is known to me. Taking responsibility for the security issues at the Rzeszów airport, its security. This is an issue that was previously discussed at the Allied level. Other NATO countries, including Poland, are now to be responsible for securing Yashonka airport. The American ally appreciates our capabilities in this area, while American troops are to be redeployed to so-called permanent bases in Poland. That is, we have the assurance that there will be no reduction of American troops, only that they will be assigned to other tasks. The problem is that the situation in the Polish military seems not so positive. For example, contracts for the supply of military equipment, negotiated while the United Right government was still in power, with the United States and South Korea, which seemed to have come to a standstill after the Tusk coalition took power in Poland. We said A, then you have to say B and move forward, fulfilling those contracts. What worries me a lot is that there are some standstills. It is evident that the amount of procured equipment is down, and in general the silence around these contracts is causing some concern. These include the 500 HIMARS long-range rocket launchers, which the US Congress has agreed to sell, and the production in Poland of more than half of the 1,000 South Korean K2 tanks. The European industry is not able to produce equipment of the quality and in the quantity that the US and Korean industries are able to produce. All this is essential for the Polish military. All this is essential for Poland to be safe. We asked representatives of Tusk's coalition about this issue. At this moment, talks are underway with the US administration regarding Polish defense. We are building strong alliances, and I hope that all politicians will also join in this work. The question is how this looks in the context of the European Parliament's resolution on EU defense, adopted in mid-March, which implies preferences for arms purchases for the old continent. Donald Tusk supported the resolution on so-called European security, but in fact it is a resolution that aims to push the US Army out of Europe, push the US arms industry out as well, and thus lead to the cancellation of many important contracts. According to the resolution, purchases for European armies are to be decided by Berlin-dominated Brussels. If we spend almost 5% of our GDP on our defense, and the EU is to decide where we will make these purchases, well, I don't think that we want to entrust this power to Brussels, as they will look after German and French interests. The volume of purchases is about 60 billion, and from our side, nothing is at risk. We want to continue this. We want all contracts to be fulfilled on time as soon as possible. The problem is that the deadlines negotiated by the United Right government have long passed, and the government is not doing much. So you can clearly see that despite all these declarations, it is putting the brakes not only on the economy in Poland, but also in this military area. It seems that also on the issue of new recruits for the Polish army, the current authorities of the Ministry of Defense are conjuring with reality. First of all, if you're talking precisely about last year's data, I increased the limits planned by my predecessor for enrollment in basic voluntary military service by about 16,000, I think. I increased those limits. Only that we asked about the actual admissions to the army, and the head of Ministry of Defense responded with the amount of the limit, that is the maximum number of new soldiers that could serve in the army in a given year. After the first platform and PSL governments ended, fewer than 100,000 soldiers served in the Polish army, and more than 600 military units, mainly in eastern Poland, were abolished. After 8 years of law and justice rule, their number had doubled, with plans to reach a 300,000-strong army. The question is what the Polish military will look like at the end of Donald Tusk's current government.